All right, welcome. I'm going to do something a little bit different, well, a big bit different than my playthroughs before. As you can tell by the screen, this is going to be a playthrough of one of the scenarios of Old School Tactical Volume 4, Italian Front. That brought the Brits to the system, also the Italians. And I'm going to be playing through the second scenario here. This doesn't have a vassal mod, and I'm not going to make one because I know they're going to make one. They've already made it for the previous ones. So I'm going to actually do something I haven't done in years and actually play a game physically. So this is a bit new for me here. So thought I'd take this opportunity. Here's the box, and this isn't going to be an unboxing either. Those have already been done. Also, I'm not doing scenario one because I think a number of people have already done this scenario on YouTube videos playing through this one. So I thought, let's just go ahead and jump to scenario two because it does include vehicles, which I think scenario one doesn't. So we do see here the setup. I do want to show you some other stuff on my computer screen, but we're only using this portion of the map board. I'm using these markers here that they provide to divide that up. Shows the game boundaries. If you got the Kickstarter, and I think they do still sell it, they have these nice mats you can place out on the sides too. Which I don't have. Maybe I'll get them. I don't know. Um, so here we go. We've got the initial setup. Here's the scenario. Just going to read it here. Homeland with their homeland invaded. The Italians had to act. Division Napoli sent its infantry along with some tanks to fight the Brits. Tanks were old hand-me-downs. We'll see. Renault R-35s. They're over here. British troops' fortunes were lifted with the arrival. Well, they say Shermans, but as far as I know, it's just one Sherman 5, which totally outclasses the Renault R35s. So just looking at the information here for the setup, it's all about these three control hexes, which I've marked here, here, and here. So the Italians, you get victory points for them. It's kind of different here. Each victory point is worth 4 to the Italians. So if the Italians take 1 or 2 of these, they may just win. Brits only get 1 victory point um, for each of those controls, but casualty points also play with the highest victory and enemy casualties. So Brits can make up for it by gathering casualties toward them. So we'll see how that plays out. So again, looking at the starting forces, the Brits have 2 full-strength rifle and 3 reduced rifle squads, 1 sapper squad, a lieutenant, a sergeant, light machine gun, two Piats. I wonder where I put the other Piat. I'll have to find that out. And then 2 foxholes there. And then starting on turn 8, this is a different game. All the die rolls have to be above a number, and they do that with the turn record track too. It starts at 10 and counts down. So starting on the second turn, the Brits roll, and on a 5 or 6, the Sherman shows up, which can start picking up the Renals at distance. We'll see when we look at their values, the R35s. So I've already set up the Brits here, and again, it's about these control hexes here. This one's a bridge here. So I don't know. Maybe the sappers can blow it up. I don't know, but I put them with a Piat there. And then when I looked at this, this is just nice here. Yeah, their setup is they have to be west of the L hex line, which is L. This is L right here, west of it. Well, they are. And these positions just look too good here with these stone walls, and you're in a orchard. They just seem perfectly positioned for this. And then back here we put the lieutenant. This is on a hill, which basically can see, well, this is another hill, so that's the end, but he can see all through here potentially. These are marsh, which don't have any height to them. So basically the setup is, in foxholes, I got a full strength rifle squad with an LMG here. Here we got Sergeant Cornish with a rifle. There's the other Piat. And then we have a Piat. Piats are here and here. kind of guessing the Renaults will come down the road and try and cross the bridge, and we'll just shoot them with the Piats. Of course, it's obvious to the Italian player because there's no hidden setup here. And then in the back here, we got the lieutenant, and he's got the mortar, range 2 and 12, so basically drop mortar shells on anything in here. And then got two reduced strength rifle squads. That's how they started, and I figured these would just be the reserves behind the lines. And then I put one of them here just to cover this flank. I mean, this is a hard haul to come through here, and as you can tell by the Italian setup, they're not going for it. But um, that's my best shot. First time playing this at my setup here for that. Now the Italians, they have a lot. 12 rifles, HMG, it's crew served, 4 light machine guns, 2 lieutenants, and 2 sergeants. So, and then on turn 9, they get the 4 R-35 old French tanks, hand-me-downs from the Germans, I guess, from France 1940. They appear on anywhere on the S. Well, maybe the road, as opposed to driving through all this. Yeah, they're not going through the marshes. They'll get bogged down. They can't go through here. That's a bog. So I don't know how the Renaults are coming. Maybe they can stand off and just fire HE at the Brits. But that comes on next turn. So with that, I just decided 4 leaders. What you can do with leaders is you can create fire groups with 2 units. So I got 4 leaders. 4 times 2 is 8. So I got, here are my big fire groups here. Each of them has a light machine gun. And then I had the 2 extra rifle guys here. They're definitely within the command radius. And then 2 more rifles down here. But actually, what I put down here is the heavy machine gun. Hopefully, you can see my board here. And I'm thinking the position I'd love to get him to is boom right there in the rubble. So he's defended, and he's got a range of 10. And I mean, this is the highest. That red dot says, I think, level 3. This is level 2. So from here, this LMG can basically see everything. So, but he can only move 1 hex at a turn. So I'm thinking, I think I had him here. He can always move 1. So I guess he can move here on 1 turn and then here. And then he kind of sees that way. But then the next turn he moves here. And now he can just see everything. And these guys, just put him over here to protect him. So we'll see. Another cool thing this game does is instead of looking at I can look at the counters, but they actually provide cards for each of these things, which is pretty cool. Put this out of the way, but we do see, I mean, here are the Brit cards, uh, basically explaining what the units do. They coalesce the information, and when we're talking about AP shots, vehicle shots, and we're piercing, then you've got a range issue. Yeah, here's that. So we do see the rifle squad is pretty straightforward. That's all on the counter. The sapper squad, what's nice is they put all the different things it does. +1 in melee, use flamethrowers, use smoke, clear obstacles, detect and clear mines. I don't see blowing up bridges. Um, and then we do see the rifle squad is straightforward. We've got the leaders, and a nice summary of what leaders do here. +1 to attack if you're within the range, +1 to hit, +1 to rally, +1 OBA, which not going to happen, +1 if they're in melee, 1 firepower, 1 defense in melee, and there it allows group actions. That's what these guys are doing here. So that's and I'm looking at the Brit ones first, but so just continuing on with the different ones here. Here's a Piat. Notice I got a Piat on each one of these sides, like a spring-loaded. I just remember the scene from Bridge Too Far when they were bridge at Arnhem when they were using the Piats to stop their German reconnaissance units coming across the bridge. Yeah, they got a range of 2, max range, and this kind of explains. This is the 2 hits. So, I mean, at range of 1, you got to roll an 8 or higher, and at a range of 2, you got to roll a 9 or higher, and that gets you the hit. But then when you got the hit, this is the armor piercing value of 5 here that they have. Now, the only target they'll have is the Renault here, which we got right here. Front defense of 3. So that gets you a +2 right there as I play the game. So they could be effective against this. But like if you look at a Sherman down here, front defense of 5, well, they're not bad. So the Piats, hopefully they can use them against the Renaults if they. Renaults may stay away, but yeah, Renaults have a range of out to 8. So they don't have to get close maybe, but we'll see. Then they have the mortar here, 2, minimum 2, maximum 12, 1 effect. Firing unit must have line of sight. Degrading has no effect, degrading terrain, because it's you're shooting a mortar. You just got to see it. Smoke, accuracy roll of 4. I have to look at that to make sure they hit the target and don't drift. But hopefully that'll help the Brits here. And then finally, the Sherman 5 hopefully will show up. And this thing can share this here. AP of 6-ish. At range. This one has a front defense of 3, so it does have an advantage. This guy has an AP of 2 and 1, which isn't going to do much against the Sherman 5 with a 5. We'll see the combat results later there as we get into the game. The other things the Italians have, they have a rifle squads, again, straightforward. Interesting, their firepower is 3 and the average side's firepower normally is 4. You see the Italians kind of their range is 4, and that's the Brits' range is 6. Okay, they got to get closer. And then here's the heavy machine gun that's going to try and get here. That's what I think. Firepower of 3, reduced unit fire. Oh, if it gets reduced, I guess that's not on the back of the counter. Range of 10, defense of 3, movement of 1. Are they going to be like dragging it up here? You can always move 1 hex as long as it's not prohibited, so terrain costs don't matter to this guy. So what's the strategy here? Well, here come the Italians. Just see how it plays out, learning the rules. Don't want to go in the marsh because that actually gives you a negative. It's kind of like being stuck in barbed wire. So the marsh is something to avoid. So these marsh hexes kind of channel. So then what am I doing here? I don't know. Maybe they will go through the marsh. We'll see. But yeah, the stacking limit is 2 with a leader or 2 regular units. So it's not like I could have done more here. I guess I could have come up from this side, but this puts you, here's the control hexes, and you're taking the long way. I mean, this is a short way, but probably the hard way, so we'll see. But again, I'm not an expert on this game's mechanics yet, so this is mainly a kind of a playthrough here. So, but there's a strategy for that. Now, something else I did want to show before I close this initial video out. Hopefully I'll get to play this a bunch of turns tomorrow. I wanted to show you, again, I do IT and I'm kind of a geek. So I started using, I may have shown this before. I've used this for other games. This is Google's, I don't know what they call it, Notebook LLM or something. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So basically, I'm on Wargame Vault too. I already bought this game on Wargame Vault. It goes on sale. A lot of Flying Pig games do that. So that gives me the electronic copies of everything, which is real helpful for building vassal mods for these games too, if I needed to. But basically, I just uploaded all the PDFs for old school tactical V4, so I could look at these, and then it kind of choose on these. And I did some stuff like summarize a mind map of the rules. I find that interesting, but kind of like I did with the previous game, I did a generated detailed sequence of play. Yeah, I did this for campaigns in Europe. If you watch those videos, so yeah, it does. Oh, nice. Turn marker reinforcement. Oh, this goes right. Oh. This is new. Okay, the last time I did this, it basically takes the PDFs and puts it into raw text, and when you click on a reference, but now it's actually showing the PDF. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Um, so here, turn marker. Where does that take me? Oh, there it goes to the sequence of play at the end of the rules. But then it goes through and it's kind of a detailed sequence of play. I did this in campaigns in Europe. It's okay. It missed some things, some nuances of the rules. So this is nice to check your work. Like anything with AI or on the internet, you always verify. Um, but then, along with the sequence of play, the other interesting thing I did was I said Italian can't. Okay, this is a briefing just on the whole game. On the word, I did Italian battle strategy for scenario 2. Um, and pretty interesting. I mean, I did ask it to say what's the best setup, but it wouldn't do that. But here it is, the Italian battle strategy, and it starts talking about. I think he got the north-south backwards too. But prior to his control hexes F10 and K9. Those are the ones coming along the road. Um, Committing the majority of Italian infantry force towards these two objectives is key. Okay. Advance with infantry and support wads. 12 supported by MG, 4MB. Push forward rapidly. Significant firepower. Range is 14. Well, it got that wrong. It's range 10. Covering open ground during the advance or defending captured positions. LMGs, they can't do sustained fire, I don't think. See, it kind of gets some stuff wrong. But attached to the infantry squads boosts their combat effectiveness. Use your leaders. I'm kind of telling you stuff you already know. Leverage. Okay, this is, I mean, it's common sense here. Movement while advancing, utilize terrain like brush, rough and woods, but not marsh. Oh, plan for the R-35 tank arrivals. Turn 9, valuable support in the late game. Well, no. I guess it's thinking turn 9 is late in the game. It didn't pick up on the fact that it numbers down. Main strength is their HE firepower of 5. I think it got that wrong, too. That's interesting. Does it have HE firepower of 5? I don't think so. No, 2. So it interpreted those wrong. And there is an artillery strike. That's right. There's an OVA on turn 8. So contest H7 is secondary. That's the one a bit off, like I show you on the map. So it's okay. I'm seeing already inaccuracies. Aggressive push from the south, and that's not the south, it's the west. So it kind of got these things wrong, but it's kind of common sense. I said, what about the Brits? Let's see. Let's see. S12, deploy control. H7, F10, K9, the control hexes. Prioritize the control hexes. Well, yeah, duh. Advance. No, see, movement from S12. Well, this isn't as great as I thought now that I looked at it. Sappers, good for melee. Um, Best used to fill defensive half squads. And the luck cards, which they're in there too. The two Piats are crucial for dealing with the R-35s. So again, not perfect, inaccuracies, but still, I mean, that's impressive. Actually, I'm most excited about now this. Now, before when I use this and I click, I just get the raw text like a text file. But now it shows the PDF. I think. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, it went to the beginning. That's fine. Well, that's pretty handy. So if I ask rules questions in the chat, then it will give me the link right to the rules itself, which is a lot better than raw text. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, enough of AI. Not quite there yet. Actually playing the war game for you yet and doing the setup. I kind of would have been shocked if it said put these units in this hex, these units, and it didn't. It's not quite there yet. So, but I will use it for the detailed sequence play and rules questions, especially since now it jumps into the PDF here. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let's go back to the board. yeah, I'm going to call this video here. We're at 20 minutes, but that's the initial setup. So I'm hoping I can crank these out 10 turns pretty quick. Get this all up before I have to give up my game table space because this is a kitchen table. So I've probably got about 2 days I can use this, and then it's got to go away. So we'll see. But anyway, there you go. I'm gonna, and like I talked in my planning video, decided to try this out as my tactical combat series, at least for the year of 2025. Um, so they've got coverage. I've pretty much got all the modules, at least through Wargame Vault, and the other two, OST 1 and 2, um, and 3, Pacific. I think they have Vassal mods. So I've got all of that. So, once this is done, I can, move into the other areas, and I'm sure a Vassal mod for this will be coming out soon. So, like I said, this is the year of OST for my World War II tactical, and hope to get also over to campaigns in Europe for my World War II operational. I can get video out on that setup for France 40. So anyway, thanks for listening, and we will see you at the next video. We'll see what the Italians can do. Again, thanks for listening.